Yeah.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back.
Hello.
It's a good sign that a lot of you have come back. I haven't scared you off from yesterday. So that means that you guys hopefully enjoyed some stuff unless you're forced to be here. So today's session, we're gonna do languages. Now, languages, there's so much to cover in regards to how people write things, how people speak, different accents in the UK, different slang and the tones of voices, and gestures. So because I don't know how to do accents, I would love to show you guys the different accents of the UK, because like I said, there's over 40 dialects, or probably about 40 to 50 dialects in the UK. So I've got quite a few videos that I can show you guys so you can get a feel of how people talk in the UK. Also, there is going to be swearing in this 2-hour session. So hopefully nobody will get offended, because it is part of British culture to swear a lot. We love to swear. So you'll see some swearing at the end of this. So be prepared for that as well. Okay. Just gonna move you guys to one side. Right, so I'm going to just do a little icebreaker with you guys, just to wake you guys up a little bit, and see what you guys know. It's not mandatory to complete all of this. It's just a little bit of fun to see what you guys know at this moment regarding the UK or the British Isles, so let's say. So the plan is, what you need to do is tell me anything British. It could be a British celebrity, a British sport, it could be food, anything at all that you would class as British. And we're going to try and fill out as much as the alphabet as possible to do this. So just to start you guys off, for example, I've got S for scone, because the British love a scone with jam and cream. So I want you guys to try and work as a team and tell me some more things British that may help try and fill up this board, and let's see how much we can fill up today.
Chips.
Chips. Yes, that's right. Right one. So I'm going to put chips here. What else have we got?
Beans on toast.
Oh, wow. Really popular one. Have you ever had beans on toast? Do you have beans on toast there?
Not formally, no.
No.
Not for breakfast, at least, yeah.
Right, that's an excellent one. What else have we got?
David Beckham.
Yes, excellent one. Oh. David Beckham, former captain of England and now just a celebrity in his own. No, that's right. You can tell I'm still asleep. David Beckham. Excellent. What else do you think is British? Any soaps that you watch from here? Any people that you see?
Love Island.
Sorry?
Love Island.
Love Island, yes, my favorite. My kind of girl, Sally. Yes, we have Love Island. There you go.
Rooney.
Is that Rooney?
Yeah.
Should we put that as Wayne Rooney, or should we put it as R for Rooney? Because you like know him as Rooney, so should I put him under R?
Yeah.
Really?
The tube, the train.
Tube. That's a really good one. Harsh, you want to throw anything into the mix? A bit of a hard one, if you can.
I was trying to think something for Z, but I'm struggling to find something.
I don't think there is one with Z. I can't think of something. You can try it.
Brexit.
Brexit. Oh, I've got a B already.
I got something for W.
A for Adele.
Adele. Oh, Adele.
Oh, Adele's a good one.
What else?
Is that how you spell whiskey, or is it
K-E-Y? No, yeah.
Manchester.
Manchester and Adele.
That's true.
You're doing actually really good.
George's Day.
Yeah.
Well done. Someone was listening yesterday.
Was that Grace?
No, it's me.
Joy.
Oh, Joy. Well done, well done. Oh, you got your sound today? Because yesterday you couldn't put your...
Yeah, it's silent now. Not too many.
Moment.
Queen Elizabeth.
That's an awesome one. Anything from yesterday? Do you guys remember? Can we fill up any of the countries? Can we fill up any of the...
Edinburgh.
That's it. That's brilliant. There you go.
Yorkshire.
Oh, wow. Nice one. Yorkshire is beautiful. Can you think of any more?
Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Joyce.
What about I? Somebody should get I.
Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland is actually shop in the UK.
Yes, there is a shop. Okay. Harsh has given you that one. There is an Iceland shop. It sells frozen food in the UK. So I'll give you that one.
One Direction.
Oh, yes, they are British. They are no direction now because they're split up. You think of anything else?
Hoodrich.
What was that, sorry?
Hoodrich, the clothing brand. Hoodrich.
Hoodrich. Go ahead. Hoodrich.
Is that a clothing brand? Yeah, Harsh said yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, Hoodrich.
Yeah, oh, nice one, okay. I didn't even know that one. When there's a queen, there's a... Does anybody know? Any of the
Kate
names?
Middleton.
Oh, that's even better. I was thinking one of the kings.
Kate Middleton.
That is awesome. I was thinking, I went old school. I was thinking of King Henry, or King Arthur, or King George. But Kate Middleton more up to date. Brilliant. You know what? This is fantastic. A lot more than I thought. Anybody know one for F?
Everybody knows for F, but they don't want to say it.
Yeah, say it. If it's a swear word, say it.
Fulton Foods.
What was that one?
Fulton Foods.
Not food. Did you hear that, Harsha?
What's that, Joyce? Did you say food?
Fulton Foods. Fulton.
Fulton.
Or Fulton
Okay.
Foods.
Full-time food. What's full-time food? No, I do that one.
It was like a supermarket.
Ah, okay.
Full-time food.
Was that in Sheffield?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
right,
okay.
right. Oh.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of F is for fish fingers. We love our fish fingers. British, good old fish fingers. So I don't think anybody's gonna get one with X. I don't think Harsh has found one with X either.
Nando's.
Yes, you will definitely fit into the UK if you love a Nando's.
Do you get Nando's in Kenya?
No, we don't. No, we
No.
don't.
No.
Nando's is awesome. Peri peri. I love my Nando's. So is there any other ones that we can think of? There's only like literally 4 left and you lot are absolutely fantastic.
You for Union Jack.
That's a good one, yeah. There you go. Anybody think of one for J? Because I don't think I'll get the other 3 letters. So boy's name? Typical boys' names?
Jack.
That's right, yeah. Brilliant. I'm going to leave these 3. I don't think there is one. Unless, you know, the Queen's, one of the Queen's names, but she was a Queen. Or a British. Yeah. Or like David Beckham's wife.
Or Victoria
Beckham.
Well.
Yeah, Victoria
Beckham,
Beckham.
yeah.
There you go.
And London, Victoria.
Yeah, London
That's
Queen
where,
Victoria.
that's where the Parliament is.
That's it. Well done, guys. I actually don't know one for Z myself. You've done really good there to try and get some stuff. Already British. You guys are well done. Right. So I'm just going to move. Okay, so can anybody remember from yesterday, what was the most common language spoken in the UK? That we're speaking right now?
English.
English.
English, yes. And do you guys, it's not a test, do you guys remember any of the other languages spoken, the main languages from the UK spoken? There was a percentage next to it for each country. Do any of you guys remember what they were?
Irish.
Yeah, brilliant.
Welsh.
Yeah,
Scottish.
Scottish. And there's another one for Scotland, if you can remember, with a G.
Gaelic.
That's right, well done. Oh, you guys make me proud already. You're making me proud. So you've got your main languages. These are the most common ones spoken in the UK. Many dialects from around the UK. Between 4 and 5 for Northern Ireland, Scotland, and for Wales, and about 37 to 40 dialects for the UK, for England. By dialects, I mean accents as well. Like I said, it's not based really on city, but they kind of class it more as cities to make it easy for people to know if they're from the south, the north, or the west. So it kind of works it out like that. These are the main ones that you've got, but there's actually 14 British languages across the British Isles and 6 sign languages. The main sign language that is done is called British Sign Language, and it's mainly used for people that are deaf. And there's also something else that is starting to become very common in the UK regarding languages, and it's Makaton, which is mainly used for people with disabilities, especially autism, and people It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't mean that you've got a disability, but you just find it hard to communicate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some accents. It's just a quick little video to show you the kind of accents and where they are from.
Great communicator. As soon as you deviate from that and you go into London speech, for example, then you lose a little bit of the communication. Cockney is based on East Anglian, Suffolk, Norfolk, Cambridgeshire. This is often by actors confused with the West Country, where the R's come in, and then you get Dorset and Somerset, get into Cornwall. Devon's slightly different. It goes into the nose a bit more like that. Then you go up north to Yorkshire. It's nice if you get a word that's got one of the predominant sounds in it, like Yorkshire. And you cross the Pennines into Lancashire, where it gets much more flexible and fluid in the mouth. Liverpool is there too, you know, it's Scouse. It's a mixture of all kinds of sounds. One of those is Northern Irish with the raising inflections, but you don't get the raising inflections down in Dublin, where it has that poetic quality, which is sometimes thought of as being not different from Highland speech, which is also quite poetic and almost Scandinavian. And then you come down to Glasgow and into the lowlands of Scotland, where you get glottal stops and things like that. And you come down the west coast and you're in Wales, North Wales, where it's breathy like that, and down into South Wales, where you get much heavier, and Welsh people who sometimes even sound a bit drunk.
Could you tell the different dialects from that, how people speak in, around the UK, how it kind of changes? Did any of them stand out for you? Did you understand all of them, or is there any that you really like out of all the accents? Is there any of your favourite accents? Can anybody remember my accent, or is it it's quite strong? Or you can't remember? Like, I've got the Birmingham accent from, like, always known as Brummie accent, which is over here, roughly here, the West Midlands. So as you can tell, everybody's got the slightly different accents. Harsha, any of yours are the favourites?
Well, I don't have favorites, but I have least favorites. Like, I don't like this Glaswegian accent. I do not understand that. I stayed in Glasgow for like 3 months, and I struggled to understand people there. But just a couple of hours to the west, Aberdeen side, Edinburgh, Perth, Aberdeen, really nice. You know, people are nice as well. And accent is really nice and very, very understandable.
That's it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people up here in Aberdeen, because there's a lot of overseas expats living here as well, it's mixed up. I was at work the other day, and not one of my colleagues is Scottish, because they're all from overseas, or they've been brought and bred up from different parts of the UK and moved to Aberdeen because it's quite rural. There's just jobs there for them to move to, and that's how they moved. And they pay slightly higher up, like I said, up in Scotland. So people go for the higher quality of life and the finances as well. I'm going to show you another video. These are of celebrities. Some of them you would know. Some of them you probably have not heard of before. It's to show you how they speak as well. Right, so these are the top. You kind of know where they are from. So the first one, you got Queen Elizabeth, and this lady, she's a very good one to follow. If you are on YouTube, she talks about quite a lot to do with English and the languages and how people speak, write, listen, and engage with people.
Number 10. i.e. the easiest to understand according to my students is Queen Elizabeth II, of course. It helps a lot that she speaks very, very slowly, and this was a formal broadcast. Let's have a listen.
King James may not have anticipated quite how important sport and games were to become in promoting harmony and common interests. But from the scriptures in the Bible which bears his name, we know that nothing is more satisfying than the feeling of belonging to a group dedicated to helping each other.
And now let's listen one more time with subtitles.
So everybody should be able to understand the Queen because it's one of the most easiest languages to understand. She speaks very clear, very slowly, and she speaks the right language. It is the Queen's language at the end of the day. So she does speak with pronunciations. Does everybody know who? Yeah.
It's also called the posh accent, right?
Yes.
In the UK.
Yes, it is very posh accent. Only a few people speak very posh. A lot of people speak different slang really in the UK, which I'm going to be covering. Does everybody know who Jason Statham is?
Yeah.
So you should see him in movies like Fast and Furious. Lots of British films. He's in a lot of British films. One of the big British stars. So he's got the Cockney accent, which is from like London sides, I suppose, Harsha?
That's right, yeah, East London.
Let's move on to number 9. And this is a very attractive to me celebrity. It is Jason Statham speaking in his gorgeous Cockney accent. I know a lot of you are huge fans of the Cockney. Let's have a listen.
And you have to accept that. I mean, at the end of the day, we shouldn't be moaning because we're hired actors. You come in, you get paid, shut your mouth, do your work, and go home. It should be a little bit of that, but sometimes you want to try and get involved and you try and collaborate and get things done.
Can we just have a...
See, so is that quite easy for you guys to understand with Jason?
Yeah.
He also, did you know he say that, shut your mouth? He puts slang, he talks slang, not posh at all, but it's very Cockney to throw in a bit of... he normally throws in a lot of swear words, so that was actually very polite of him at the moment because he's on the radio then. Does anybody know a girl called Gemma Collins? Have you ever heard of her? Okay, so that's good that you haven't heard of her because she is just a reality TV star, very, very popular in England, probably the whole of the UK. She's very popular. She makes her own language up, and she's from Essex, which is around London. So I'm just going to show you.
East of London, yeah.
East of London, yeah.
See that number 8 was the Essex accent. So let's play a clip of that. We have a celebrity called Gemma Collins, who I personally adore. She is so sassy, so entertaining. If I ever feel sad, I look at her top moments on YouTube because, oh, what character. She's just completely herself.
I've become one of the biggest reality stars in Britain.
Oh. Annoyingly, I've got added it.
It's weird,
yeah.
But that's the GC, and that's what I do. I make great TV. I provide you with entertainment, and I kind of explain it to people. It's like Paul O'Grady and Lily Savage. You know, it's how I make my money.
I mean, she's so confident, isn't she? I loved.
His funny thing is she said she's known globally and not one of you knew who she was. So she thinks she's a big celebrity, but she's actually only known in the UK. She said something like, I am the GC. That was her initials, Gemma Collins. She uses it a lot to talk about herself, like I am the GC. Yes, that's right. Yeah, so she's actually put her own language into the UK. So when people say, oh, the GC, they know they're talking about Gemma Collins because she's trying to get herself out there. She is known for doing absolutely nothing apart from being on TV and cussing people on reality TV. There's a program called The Only Way is Essex. She was on that, and that's how she became famous. So if you ever want to become famous, in the UK, just go on a reality TV show and you'll be famous. Does anybody know who Charlotte Church is? Have you not heard of her? Okay, she was a star from Cardiff, from Wales, a child star, and she, at the age of 5 or 6, sang for the Queen. She was in the choir, so that's how she became famous. And she was a very posh little girl, but when she got older, she rebelled and she's very rude. She swears a lot now. She shouts. So she's got famous for different things, and she's a presenter. So this is the Cardiff accent.
Loaded. Okay, loaded. Okay, moving on to number 7. We're going to another country. We're not in England anymore. We are in Wales, and it is the Cardiff accent, as spoken by Charlotte Church, who is an opera singer.
Well, I suppose in terms of what the film Endemilk was, is such an incredible play. Dylan Thomas's writing is so unusual. Yeah, and I'm not really, I'm quite a newbie to acting. I've done bits and bobs in the past.
Very interesting there. Can you hear her say unusual? Where I'd say unusual. So it's almost like she's adding in an extra syllable there. And she also said incredible with an R sound that I struggle to do. It's like a thing. It's like a rolling R sound.
So that's the Welsh accent. She's got a very strong Welsh accent. The more I'm going down this list, the harder the accents are. So if you can see on the right-hand side, is there any that you want me to click on? So you got the Yorkshire ones, you got Geordie from Newcastle, you got the Glaswegian one, the one that Harsha hates. I can show you guys that to show you, is he right? It's actually the second hardest language in the UK to understand. So I'm going to click that one.
Not the language, the accent.
The accent, sorry, see, even I get it wrong.
Right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is a comedian that I'm very fond of. He's called Frankie Boyle. He tells the most outrageous jokes. He really pushes the boundaries and oversteps them quite frequently.
Oh
but he speaks.
She's put a lot of adverts in there.
Glaswegian accent from Glasgow in Scotland. Let's have a listen.
My cousins, when I was growing up in Ireland, their dad was like a fisherman, like on a trawler in Ireland, and he would go away for 2 weeks at a time. I remember thinking that's the worst thing you could possibly imagine, you know, is that your dad's going to just disappear for 2 weeks, and now it's like, you know, 2 months would be quite standard on a tour.
Very, very distinctive tour.
Did any of you actually understand that? No.
About disappearing for 2 weeks or something like that. I picked that bit up.
Let's do it with subtitles.
To mimic it. This for me is one of the hardest accents for me to mimic. One thing I find quite distinctive is that where I would say is, they say as, or instead of kind, for me, they say caned. Let's have a listen again with subtitles.
Subtitles now.
What you picked up.
My cousins, when I was growing up in Ireland, their dad was like a fisherman, like on a trawler in Ireland, and he would go away for 2 weeks at a time. I remember thinking that's the worst thing you could possibly imagine, you know, is that your dad's going to just disappear for 2 weeks, and now it's like, you know, 2 months would be quite standard on a tour.
And the last.
That's it. So I understood it all. So I think because I speak quite fast and I understand the Scottish accent. Is there any other ones that you want to listen to before I come off this? So you got Scouse accent, Geordie, Birmingham, you can tell from me anyway. The Yorkshire ones.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask Joyce a question?
Joyce,
Joyce, it was you who used to...
I was about to say, yeah, I can hear a Geordie accent as well.
You want to hear the Geordie one?
Joyce has been to, into the UK, right?
So this is Cheryl Cole. I think it's quite a poor accent, not my favourite.
Move on to number 3, another Girls Aloud member. So you voted these 2 quite high up on the difficulty scale. Cheryl speaks with a Geordie accent, which you can find in the city.
Is that what you asked for, Geordie?
Castle and the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
We did 3 hours the night before, and those girls are. So there's a girl out there called Chong who I used when I did my own solo tour. I just absolutely adore her. I love working with her. And we did 3 hours with those girls, and those girls were sick.
Yeah.
So I was just watching them the whole time. Like, I want to do it like her.
She's so softly spoken, and she speaks really, really gently.
Did she say the girls were sick? So that was, she used slang. They're not actually poorly. I mean that they're really cool. They're really good girls. They're the best girls in the world. So she goes, those girls are sick. So she used a bit more slang. She's roughly like my age, which is like mid-30s. I'm not gonna tell you my age. I'm too old now. So she doesn't use as much slang as the next generation. The next generation, like the 20-year-olds now and maybe younger, you cannot understand a word they say, which I'm going to show you as well in a bit. Did somebody say?
Sorry, I was trying to ask Joyce. Joyce, you said you've been to the UK before, right? In Sheffield. Yeah, you're on mute, I think, Joyce. Oh, we can't hear you. Joyce, you're on mute. Can you hear us?
I don't know.
I think it was Joyce who's been to the UK. I was going to ask what the Sheffield or Yorkshire accent was like. If she picked it up properly.
Yes,
I don't know if you can hear me.
Is she gone? Is she still there?
She's just there.
Yeah. I'll put the Yorkshire accent on because Joyce has been there to give us some remembering of the UK. And this is the last one I'll do just to show you guys the Yorkshire accent.
Let's move on to number 6. It's the Yorkshire accent as spoken by Louis Tomlinson from One Direction.
Basically, right, my name is Louis. Once I was old enough, I don't know why, I just didn't really love it. So I got known as Lewis. All my friends from home call me Lewis. And then I get there, it's close enough, so. And then I get there on my first day at the X Factor with Simon, and you know what I mean, all the judges, and he called me Louis.
So for me, one of the most...
Can you understand him from Yorkshire? Very hard accents to understand. So if you do come to the UK, like I know some of you said you want to go to Scotland, you don't mind Wales. They've got very distinctive, strong accents. So you might find it hard to understand proper people that are born here, like British people, but there is a lot of other cultures in these countries and cities as well. So you wouldn't find it too hard to integrate and understand certain people, but there's a lot of slang that we speak. That's the things that you need to understand more and how people say things. And some of the things that they say, you might get offended from thinking that they are saying something bad, but they're not actually saying something bad. They're saying something good. Is there any questions about that, guys? No?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of UK hip hop from there.
Yes.
And some of the rappers have some accents. Like, where do you categorize those kind of accents from? Like, example, like Stormzy.
Yeah, Stormzy's got the London accent. They've got Roadman accent. Okay. If you call it Roadman accent, I'm actually going to cover that because London have made up their own language, but that language is used amongst a lot of people in like Birmingham, Manchester, you know, the younger boys mainly talking, you know, like you see a lot of people with the tracksuits on and the caps on and the hats on, the black clothes and the hang out on road. That's what they say, they hang out outside with their friends. So they're known as roadman. If you got no job, they're known as wasteman. But these are roadman. So I will cover that one a bit so you can see, and they've just completely changed everything up, which is very interesting to see. So if you do go to London, you would hear that a lot. And like you said, if you've heard Stormzy is more nicer about it because he's on TV. So he's one of the good ones, but they've got other people that you just can't understand a word they're saying. So there's a couple of sign languages that I said that are very popular in the UK. One of them is British Sign Language. It is used across the UK. It's still used now. Does anybody know any sign languages or any of the gestures that they might do? Or have you ever seen it? The British Sign Language. I take that as a no, which is fine. You would start seeing these quite a lot. Like, you know, when they do the news, you normally have somebody doing British Sign Language next to it. Or if it's Parliament things and they want to integrate deaf community into society, because we're trying to be a multicultural, and equality is really important to the UK. So they're trying to integrate things for everybody. Over 125,000 people in the UK, or shall I say in either Scotland, Wales or England, use British Sign Language, and 87,000 deaf people use it as their first language. Usually if it's followed by English as a second language, or it could be one of the languages like they're brought up in, like Punjabi or Polish or whatever it is. Now in Northern Ireland, they actually got their own sign language, which is Irish Sign Language. And they use Irish Sign Language in Northern Ireland and British Sign Language in Northern Ireland as well. So finger spelling, as you can see here, is the alphabet. This is your alphabet for the UK. If you see your vowels, A, E, I, O, U, the easiest way to remember that is take your hand out and it's in order. So this is A, E, I, O, U. And that's how you remember your sign language for your vowels. It's all on one hand. So if you ever see anybody try and do that, that's what they mean. So every letter of the alphabet has a sign as seen. So those of you that got your cameras on, or even if you haven't, you can do it. Can you sign the letter of your name? So mine is S. So mine goes like that. So what would your letter be if you had to do a sign language? That's right, Joyce. Yes, I can see Joyce doing the J. Harsha looks like he's giving money to people. So that's a H. You got Mary's one, M. Got two Marys, M. Yeah, that's right, Mary. Yep. Nancy. Nancy's is followed quite easily to M as well. So you got M and N with two letters. Brilliant. So you would see that quite a lot. And if a lot of you want to go into care, you would have people that are deaf. So just knowing even the basics, even if you don't know how to say your name, if you just say the first letter of your first letter, that can be represented as your name for people that don't know who, like, that know that you can't like sign it. So I can use this as Sophie, but they won't know it's Sophie. They would just know it as S. So they would think your name is like S, which is fine. And that's a way of communicating with them as well. So if any of you are going for jobs here, it's kind of good to like touch up on a little bit. Like I said, these are just alphabets. They actually have signs and symbols as well for deaf people. So it's all important to have the way that somebody does it, like all in the lips, the facial expression, the shoulder movement. It tells us how upset they are or happy they are or sad they are. So you can interpret things like that. Body language is very important in the UK because from that you can understand how somebody's feeling. So I'm just going to show you now a quick video on the British Sign Language so you can see it. This is just the alphabet. I did have it here. It's this one.
Let's start with the alphabet.
So she's doing the gestures.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
See, that's quite very clear. So you know, even though she's doing it in her hand, you can kind of tell what they are. So that's a V, that's a W. So that's the British Sign Language. Okay. Like I said, you got the Irish Sign Language as well. This is the Irish Sign Language. Like I said, it's used in more in Republic of Ireland, which is not part of us, but Northern Ireland still use it, and they use British Sign Language. The Irish Sign Language is closely related to the French Sign Language because they've got their own, but it has elements of British Sign Language in it. So some of these you might recognize. Can anybody sign their name in the Irish Sign Language? So what would it be now? So my S, like power to the people. I look at the M's. And I got some S's. So what was the J one? I think it goes down. I'm going to show you a clip on it to show you how it's done. And then you can see the difference in it. So she's already there. So look how clearly she did it. You can kind of see the alphabet. So can anyone tell me the main difference between the British Sign Language and the Irish Sign Language? Did anybody see a difference between what they use?
I think the difference is the British, they're using both hands.
Absolutely.
The Irish are using one hand.
Absolutely. That was the main obvious thing. So if you ever see anybody do sign language, like I said, you might see a lot in care services or hospitals or some people's lives. It's getting more common now. So if you see people signing, you know they're either using Irish Sign Language or British Sign Language. They might be using like American if you know that their family is American as well. So it can get a bit confusing with that, but that is predominantly what is used in the UK. Is there any questions about that at the moment? Okay. So there's another one called Makaton. Has anybody heard of Makaton before? Is it used in Kenya? No. So Makaton is fairly new. It's been used for many years, but it's fairly new language, used very widely in the UK. Like we all can use it. It doesn't mean that you're disabled or anything like that. It's just communication. So you will see a lot in adults that find it hard to express themselves. So if they had a panic attack or they're feeling anxiety and they can't talk, they might communicate something. You'll see a lot in young children, like 2, 3-year-olds, 4, 5 years olds that are at school and they're a bit shy. So they might use Makaton, but you would definitely see with autistic children. So if you want to work in the care industry with autistic children or adults, it is definitely recommended to do a course as in Makaton, the British Makaton. That way it gives you an extra edge to work with autistic children and get that job as well. And also doing a course in autism. There are 2 things. Now, as you can see from the words, the alphabet's the same as the British Sign Language. But it's personalized to you. So everybody's got different ones, but you would see the same thing. It's used by over 100,000 children and adults in the UK. And it's a leading sign language that we use. Now, there's this very famous, children's star called Mr. Tumble. I don't know if any of you have heard him or have your children watch it on TV, but if you're in the UK, you would see him on your TV shows every single day, and all your children will know him. So I'm going to show you Mr. Tumble's Makaton because he does it really well, and he teaches children Makaton. So he looks a bit like a clown, but he is very famous, okay?
Lamb. Look. Lamb. You sign. Lamb. Look. Lamb. Goat. Look. Goat. You sign. Goat. Look. Goat. Egg. Ah, look. Egg. You sign. Egg. Oh, look. Egg. Picnic basket. Look. Picnic basket. You sign. Picnic basket. Look.
Okay. So with Makaton, if you know the pictures, with Makaton you use pictures as well because it's a form of communication. Now your pictures can be everyday things because if it's personal to them, but you know, with Mr. Tumble, he showed a white background with a clean black picture of a picnic basket or a goat. That is a Makaton sign. So your Makaton sign, so if you're working with people that have got communication needs, you would have simple, clear pictures on a background. You can make them yourself or you can download them off the internet. There's lots of communication aids out there to help. Does that make sense, guys? Is there any questions with that? Makaton is such a fun language to learn. So it's like, please, thank you. You know, they've got house. So little words like this, you cannot expect to learn all of the Makaton languages, but if you know quite a few or you understand how it works, it would really help you with getting a job in the care industry. Any questions on any of the languages or? Did someone say something? Okay, so that's your British Sign Languages and your normal languages and the dialects of the UK. Now because the UK is known for expats or immigrants coming over to the UK and settling here or working here. So there's so much other languages spoken here as well. About 65 million people, residents of England, Scotland, Wales, speak English, obviously. So that is the main spoken language. Then you said you've already mentioned that Scots is another language, Welsh and Irish, that is followed shortly after. They also have some, like with the Scottish language, it's not actually counted as a language, it's an add-on to the English language. But because Scotland's its own country, they have kept their own word of Scot. So it's not a recognised Scottish language, but the Scottish people say we speak Scot. However, with Wales, the Welsh language is actually a language and it is recognised as because it's got a different law, which was passed 30 years ago. So English and Welsh is an actual language. Scot is not a language. This is why in the UK, if you're walking along or driving along, you'll see signs that's got English and Welsh because it's two languages. So you know, that's why you always see two on a board. And you might think, why is it in Welsh? That's the reason why, because the UK have put it so that everybody understands both languages if they needed to. And by law, all public services have to have both languages on the boards. There's also some little languages spoken in the UK. Like, you know, at the bottom of the UK, you got Cornwall. Right in the bottom of Cornwall, approximately 600 people still speak Cornish language. In Ireland, across the whole of Ireland, about 5,500 people still speak Irish, but it's slowly starting to disappear. They're trying to keep it there, but it's disappearing because many people from overseas are bringing their own cultures in and their own languages, and everybody's predominantly speaking English. Now, like I said, there's lots of people from overseas come to the UK. There's over 4.2 million speakers in the UK that speak a different language. Is there any languages that you think that you would commonly hear in the UK that is not English? So what kind of languages do you think there might be? Does anybody know any of the other languages that you might hear?
I know for a fact in the UK, you will hear every single language in the world because there are people from every single country in the UK.
Absolutely. That is true.
Especially in big cities.
Harsha, how many languages do you speak?
Well, I only speak 2.
So Harsha speaks 2 languages, and I speak about 5. I only speak 5 because even though I'm British or English, should I say, my mom and dad were born in Pakistan and India. So I picked up Punjabi, Urdu, Hindi, and Meepuri from them. So which is really good because I've got the extra languages that also helps with jobs as well. And so I can become an interpreter for anybody that speaks Urdu, Hindi, Meepuri, and that puts my job spec up higher. Harsha can as well. If there's anybody that speaks his language and he saw a job there, he's got a good chance of potentially getting that. Do any of you guys speak any other languages? So which languages do you speak? Because I would love to know as well. Joyce is nodding.
So you all speak Swahili, right?
Yes.
What is it? So see, I didn't even know that, so that's great. So because English people are very ignorant, we just think that everybody speaks English around the world. We expect everybody to speak English. So by you guys coming here with a second language will really help you guys with jobs. So on your CVs, put down your languages. Say I speak English fluently and what other languages. If you can write them as well, write down, you can write English and whatever as well, because it does help towards getting a job. So these little things is your skills and what you can bring to the table, okay? So remember these things when you're doing your CV. This is you selling yourself. Now we're gonna see what are recognized as the languages spoken in the UK. So, like I said, you got the English language, Scots and Welsh, but the next language that it does not belong to the UK is actually Polish. Now that is because we had, Europe was part of the UK since 2004. It's only come out of Brexit now. So a lot of people came here and set up, and we had a lot of Polish people come over and settle in the UK. So that became the biggest language spoken here. Next you can see is Punjabi, Urdu and Bangladesh, or Bengali, shall I say. About 220,000 people each speak these languages. And this is because there's lots of people from India and Pakistan came here back in the 19th and 20th century. Then followed closely by French, Chinese, Portugal, and Spanish. Still a lot of people speaking it, and they do speak other languages as well. And then, like Harsha said, you would probably hear every single language in the main cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds. You probably hear everything. London, you probably won't see many English people. When I was walking down the streets in London, there's so many people from different places around the world. The way that they're dressed is so different. It's just so multicultural. One side of your neighbor might be from Romania. The other side might be from Polish. In front of you, it might be somebody from Pakistan. That's how diverse it is in London, especially. Does anybody want to add anything to that, or got any experiences of anything in the UK they want to share? Harsha?
Not to mention, yeah, like, you know, like we're in Aberdeen, we're not even in London, but I just realized, you know, like our neighbor, very next neighbor next door is Scottish, the Scottish family. And then after them, it's a Nigerian family.
Yes.
And then after the Nigerian family, it's a South Indian family. And then just opposite the South Indian family, it's a Chinese family, right? Even though this is not London, this is far away from London. It's still not even a big city, but still we got lots of diversity here as well.
So that goes to show, do you know when some of you asked yesterday that you want to know how you would feel? We've gone to the top of the UK. We thought we was going to be the only brown-faced people here, not knowing that nearly everybody is, but they're from different parts of the UK and they've been here for like many years as skilled. A lot of them have actually come as skilled workers to Aberdeen. You'll see a lot of engineers here, doctors, nurses, like very high jobs here. It's just something that is really needed around the top ends of Scotland. Like when we go through it next week, I'm going to show you like certificate of sponsors, lots of jobs in Scotland, especially around Aberdeenshire. I'm not selling Aberdeen for you all to come. It's just, we've noticed that there's loads of jobs up here, very higher jobs. So even if you didn't want to do care, like some of you are like, one of you were a lab technician, you know, look at places like this because you might more than likely get the job that you're actually doing or qualified in as opposed to a care worker visa or something, okay? Any questions about anything at the moment? Okay, so I've gone through the accents and dialects of the UK. Now it's words. There's certain words that we use. We've got the British language, like we write a certain way. But for example, we use a Microsoft Office package that is automatically set as US English. So the United States of America have got their own language. We've got our own language as well. So you got to see what you're using at home. So if you're writing CVs and stuff, you need to see, is your word package designated to pick up American British language, the American English, or the UK English. So make sure you're using the right package if you're applying for jobs in the UK, because if you're using the wrong words or stuff, it can confuse people from the UK, okay? So even though we use the same language, there's lots of words that it's the same word, but it means something completely different. So I've got some words here for you guys. These are USA words. You might have seen these. And these are the English words. Can any of you match up any words from the US to the UK? So is there any words that you know that belongs to the same family?
Soccer and football.
That's right, yes. There you go. Brilliant.
Fries and chips.
Yeah.
Sofa and couch.
Where is fries and chips? Sofa and couch, yes.
Sidewalk and pavement.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah.
Chips movie, film.
Movie and film, yeah. I heard someone say chips and
crisps.
Yeah, I find that really weird because chips to me are chips.
Underwear and pants.
Yes.
Realtor, estate agents.
Yeah.
Pants and trousers.
See, I think that's all of them. Brilliant. Look, pants, the US use that as actual trousers, but we call it underwear. So people can say different things. Yeah, trunks and boots. But we also call boots wellies as well. So the US call it boots. We can call them wellies as well, or hiking boots. So, but we still know what it all means. So
yeah, but this boot is different. Yeah, this is the car boot.
Car boot.
Not the shoes.
Like the trunk. Yeah. So you got them all right. So well done there. So even though we know what they're talking about, we don't use the word soccer in the UK, but we do use sofa and couch. So we do use some US words because it's just mixed in with those guys now. But like I said, you have to be careful with how you write it, which I'll go through. So that's you guys doing that. So the spelling of the UK, there's lots of different ways to spell stuff, and this can catch you out. Like if you're doing language tests or English tests in the UK, if you're spelling it the US way, it can mark you down as well. So you need to be very careful of what words you use. I used to do it quite a lot because I used to use MS Word and it used to be US, like I said. So my wording, I never used to spell check it properly. When I handed it into my teacher, they used to circle it saying it's the wrong ones, you're using the wrong things. And I used to get marked down a lot. So now you have to recheck everything. So like I said, both American and British spelling words are correct. America's spellings are like more clear. And like I said, Microsoft Office is set to a default there. When Americans look at British words, they think it looks incorrect. And you might look at it and think that's wrong, but more than likely it's right for if you're in the UK. If you're in the US, then it doesn't matter. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So you've got, look here, you've got E and A-E or O-E. So the US use the letter E only. We actually put an A or an O in front of it. So as you can see here, leukemia is spelled with the IE there. And leukemia here is spelled with the E. So the Americans don't use the A. Same with maneuver. We've put an O in it. And the Americans take the O out of it. So anything that you...
Yeah, I'm just curious to know what you guys use in Kenya. Like, how do you spell things the American way or British way, or is it a mixture?
So to you, which one's right? Like, what do you use in Kenya? Do you use American? Do you use British, or is it something completely different?
British. For the medical courses, mostly we use the British.
Oh, brilliant.
But for day-to-day activities, we find ourselves writing the American part.
Oh, wow. See, that's really interesting. Also, that's good then. So if you have to write the medical side British, that's perfect, because if you are becoming nurses or doctors or dentists and you have to do them tests, you should pass it. And especially if you're coming to do your IELTS testing or your SALT testing, that would really help. So if any of you are not using it properly, start using it. So when you are in the UK or you need to do IELTS for come and study in the UK, you're more likely to get a higher mark. I've seen many people from overseas get low marks because of this one little thing that might mess up. So these are the same then. So you should hopefully be familiar with majority of these, if not all of them. You got defense. With this SE and the CE, that's a very confusing one for a lot of people. Even I have to look at it. I get confused sometimes as well, and I'm English because I'm so used to seeing the American one as well, because I use a lot of word packages. Now, like I said, because I've defaulted mine to British, it comes up as it's wrong. So you got the CE there and the SE is there. Same with these, you got the ER and the RE. So they just turn it around. So as you can see, it's spelled the opposite way.
It's important when if you're writing your CVs and stuff, if you're doing your job applications and stuff for the UK, definitely use the UK version, because sometimes we use software and stuff to pick up keywords. So it might be important to use, well, it will be important to use the British way of writing things, spelling things. So the keywords will be picked up. Otherwise, they might get used like organization and stuff like that. You know, like use the
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't the two words mean something different? Like
yes,
check and check.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Like, so, for example, with fiber, Americans use class fiber like this. The UK use fiber as well, but it's like fiber for the Wi-Fi, like fiber optic. But this fiber can be for food, like you got fiber in your food, like a vitamin. Checker, like I said, checker there, got that way. But the British checker, it could be, that means something else as well, doesn't it, Harsha? Is it like, it's not part of your chess piece, is it?
It's the game as well, yeah.
Yeah, checkers is a game, but whereas we use it differently. So loads of different words. If you use something, it might turn it all together.
So, like, you are going to pick a check from the bank.
Yeah.
So there's checking something, you can check something, then you are going to pick a check from the bank.
Yeah.
So in the UK, what will you, the check from the bank? That is the meaning. So, I don't get it.
So with the check from the bank, the UK, I had to go to the bank the other day to get a check because I couldn't get the account number or sort code of somebody. The bank was very confused because they've not done checks in many years because nobody does them no more. So you have a banker's draft now is nowhere else. But normally check is spelled without the R. So is that right? CHEQUE? People know it as. But they won't really know it as checker. If you said to them checker, they will get very confused on what you're talking about.
Sophie, you're not answering the question. So yeah, that check, CHEQUE check in Britain is the actual check from the bank. You're going to change a check. But if you're going to check something, that's the CHECK in the UK. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. That's why I'm asking. In America, they'll say check, you are going to check something. So it's the same as the UK, you are going to check something.
We're going to check something. That's the same in America and the Britain as well.
Or they could say, we're going to see something. I'm going to look at something. So they can use it as that. Even check in the UK now, the checker one, it could be classed as a banker's draft as well because it's so old school. So they've changed, wording has changed over time in the UK. A lot of people are using more slang in the fact that it's the next generation. So different words are starting to come in. So yeah, so certain things, like you said, you got the check there and you got checker there. So that check there means in America means like a banker's draft or a check. For us, like Harsha said, it's going to check something. You're going to go and check on something. So there's going to be many words like that. Like that little game we played, boot. Boot in the UK means a boot of a car, but it can also mean wellies as well, something that you put on your feet. So you would need to know the difference between it. You don't need to know, it will come with time because it's just different languages. Lots of YouTube videos help with understanding the difference between UK and USA or even Australian languages, so you know the different wording that we use. Like, for example, CV and resume. We rarely use the word resume in the UK. We class everything as a CV. But in America and Canada, they use the word resume more. It's not saying that we don't use resume. A resume is just a snapshot of your CV, but a CV is more in detail. So if you're going for like a professor job or a director's job, you would normally use a CV. It's like about 4 or 5 pages long, very in detail. And you have like little references on there from professors. But a resume is more vague, just the experience, education, and the skills that you can bring to it. Even though it's separated, the UK, we just say CV, bring your CV, and we don't mind what format is it in, as long as you got the relevant information on it, okay? Do you want to add anything to that, Harsha? No? Okay, so this one is your slang. So a lot of slang used in the UK. Right. So in the UK, the word slang means that it's not proper English. You know, like the Queen speaks posh and the proper English, shall I say? Lots of people don't speak like that. You really, really hear it. So English have got their own slang. Irish have got their own slang. Scottish have got their own slang. You got, you know, like you said, Stormzy and London. That's your roadman slang, and there's a lot of swearing slang as well. So there's at least 5 different slangs in the UK, and there's more than that as well, but these are the main ones. So to show you the difference, I'm going to show you some video clips of each one so you can kind of see the difference between what is spoken. So Gerard Butler, you know him as a famous celebrity actor. He is Scottish, so he's going to show you the British slang or the Scottish slang, shall I say.
Give your child's clothes a second life. Sell them on the Vinted app. Download Vinted today.
What your wrist means shut up, which is probably what I should do right now as I'm living my career one moment at a time. I'm Gerard Butler, and this is Scottish slang. Baccy, tobacco, either chewing or smoking. Trolley is a shopping cart. Also, to be off your trolley means you're out your head, you're very drunk, he was off his fucking trolley. I didn't ken. More used on the east coast of Edinburgh. It means I don't know. Bevy, a drink, let's go for a bit. Okay, airbag is a fart. Ball bag, your wee ball bag is a scrotum, means you are a scrotum. Steaming, one of our 100,000 words for being drunk. Wee bit means a little amount. You know, like, were you drunk or were you steaming? A wee bit. Go on yourself. Go on, you can do this. It's a sign of encouragement, not something you often get in Scotland. Oh, your bum's out the windy means you're talking nonsense. Your bum's out the windy. Bonnie is maybe my favourite Scottish word. You know, you say Bonnie Scotland or a bonnie wee lass. It means lovely, beautiful, sweet. I'm getting the messages means I'm going shopping. So I'm going to the shop or I'm getting the messages, because normally when people go shopping, somebody writes it down for them. So they literally have it in message form. So they go to the shops and go, all right, potatoes, all right, carrots, all right, turpentine, okay? Tatties is potatoes, instant tatties, which is our national dish, sadly, which is basically just minced beef and potatoes. Peely Wally is something that's been used to describe me very often. It means pale. So maybe after a night out, you're looking very peely wally. Fizzy juice, soda, really. Jobby means shit. The sweetest name that you could ever have for a shit. Jobby.
So have any of you ever heard any of them Scottish words before? Even I haven't heard some of them before. So in Scotland, they use for little, they use wee, like W-E-E. But in English, wee means when you go to the toilet and have a wee. So it means something completely different. So we used to always take the mickey out of the Scottish saying when they say, oh, wee bit. We're like, what you mean, wee bit? That's going to the toilet. Even I'll send the messages. Never heard that saying before. English, that doesn't make sense to us in England. But in Scotland, like you said, it means you go to the shop, and it makes sense when he says it, is because you write a message down or you write the shopping list down and you take it to the shop. Any questions about the Scottish slang? Do any of you understand it?
No.
Do any of you still want to move to Scotland?
What's the difference between Scotland and Ireland accent?
I'm going to show you the accent. That's a very good one, because I said to the other day, oh, you got a nice Scottish accent, and they go, oh, I'm from Ireland. I couldn't even tell the difference.
In my personal opinion, I think Irish accent is closer to the American or Canadian accent. Does that make sense? You know, you can see the difference between British and American accent, right?
Yeah.
And Irish, Yeah, like I said, it sounds a bit more American than English. But yeah, you will hear it, I think. Soon, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's probably a good interpretation of it. You know, Gerald Butler that's proper Scottish. So I'm going to show you Jamie Dornan, another celebrity. He's Irish. So you can, the twang is a bit different. The way that they say words, the wording, that's how you pick up where they're from. So that's how you know. So like you just heard Gerald Butler. I'm just going to say a couple of more so you can have it fresh in your mind. And then I'll put James Dornan on about for Ireland so you can see the difference, okay?
I find that funny, but it's maybe because I'm from it. Anyway, scran means food, right? Simple. Hogmanay is New Year's Eve, and in Scotland it's a big traditional thing with us, with bringing a whiskey and a piece of coal and an axe if you don't like the neighbour. But if you do, just stick to the whiskey and coal. Pure.
And then you got the Scottish.
The Guardian calls the Pixel 6 the very best Google phone. Switch to Google Pixel.
Dornan is known for basically me.
This is the Irish.
And name this. My name's Jamie Dornan. I am today doing Northern Irish slang with Jamie Dornan. That's me. Well, that's the most famous expression we have in all of Ireland. Crack. When you say what's a crack, like that's the first thing you say to someone from home, like what's a crack? How's it going? What are you up to? Basically it's sort of all encompassing. It's like, oh, we had great crack last night. That means that the crack was good. Boys of dear, I say this all the time when you've been jarred by something or you've received some news, you go, boys of dear. And then I have my own spin on it. I always say boys of dear, dear's a boy, which really annoys people. I once tried to do a whole conversation with these builders who were working at my dad's house by only saying boys of dear to them, and I talked to them for 20 minutes. Kecks is your underwear. Like, oh, I can't wear these dirty kecks again. I've worn them 4 days in a row. I've never said that, but my friends have. If there's any phrase that's used more than crack, it's we. We'll be like, oh, I'm going to have a wee cup of tea. Even though you're having a totally normal sized cup of tea, we'll say a wee cup of tea. Or if you're like in a shop, the man or woman will be like, do you want a wee bag of that?
See, he uses we as well. So Irish use we as well. That means having a small cup of tea. So even though it's little, they use it in a different content. Could you tell the difference there between the Scottish accent and the Irish? He speaks really quick, very low, and I can't even understand him much, but I can understand him enough.
Am I right to say that Irish accent is closer to the American than British?
Does it sound more American than British?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, someone backed you up, Harsha.
Thank you.
So it's very like, I think Scotland's a bit more harsh, a bit more aggressive. The Irish is a bit more mellow, a bit more toned down. And English are meant to be posh, but we're far from posh. That I know. But lots of words. Did any of you recognize any of the Irish words used? Not words that we knew, like he said the word keks. I've heard of that. Not something we use, but when you put it in a sentence, it made sense to me that it was like a form of trainer or a shoe. I'm gonna get my kicks on. In England, roadman slang is I get my kicks on. So you can say it depends on how you say the whole sentence to understand it. Now I'm going to Idris Elba. A lot of you guys should know who Idris Elba is. Very famous British actor. He's going to teach you the British slang so you can see the difference between all three of them, and then you can see the difference for roadman slang.
Ladies and gentlemen, hi, my name is Idris Elba, and I have been set up, completely set up. I know nothing about British slang, but I'm here to teach you British slang. Ting. It just means thing. You can say ting in so many ways. You can say it like, you know, what are you doing later? I've got this ting to do. What you got in your pockets? Let me see. You say, just my tings.
Okay.
And it, Useful word. Next, fit. Fit means you look good, like you're buff. Buff is another word for good. Now, this is a fun one, you know, because I was named Sexiest Man of the Year, and what you could say is Idris Elba is fit. See what I did there? Chirping. To chirp someone is like if you go into a pub and you see a girl and you're like, oh, she's nice, you want to go and talk to her. Talking to her is called chirping. In English rhyming slang, we say bird, but for women, it's not called. That's what it is, bird. And when you talk to a bird, you chirp. And so you're chirping a girl. My chirping days are over. Benning, what it actually means is that when I'm benning, I'm laughing so hard that I'm bending over. Yeah, man, you can say it like this. Yo, I saw my guy the other day. Yo, he had me benning. Adam. So a little quick history lesson here. So Cockney, the word Cockney is, I would say it's a people that come from an area in East London. That area in East London is defined by the Bow bells. The Bow bells are church bells that are in Bow. And when they ring, they have like a 3-mile radius of their sound. And if you are within that 3-mile radius, then you are technically a Cockney. And now the Cockneys would use slang and they would rhyme words with other words. And that's what Cockney rhyming slang is. Adam and Eve, believe. You could say, I guess, mate, I saw this purple dragon the other day. I don't, Adam, believe. Yeah, I don't, Adam, yeah. I think I said you use it. Barney. Barney is Cockney.
So that's the British slang. Did any of you understand the British slang at all?
English slang, yeah.
Or English slang, sorry, English slang. I've got to get used to it. So he was doing English slang there. So you would hear a lot of that, but he's actually doing it more politely, and that's more toned down to Roadman slang, which is a lot worse, and it's getting crazier as time goes on. Some of these words he's using is coming mainly from, like you said, South London. So the words like Barney, we don't use that in the Midlands or anywhere that I've been. I don't know if Harsh has heard it anywhere else. So there's a couple of words that we don't use, but like you said, Cockney in London, South London, they do a lot of rhyming. They just put random words together just to make it rhyme. So that's the difference between the Irish slang, the English slang, and the Scottish slang. Any questions about that? It's okay, you don't need to learn it. People do speak proper English. It's just, some people don't. And like I said, it's purely down to ignorancy and the fact that they don't know any other word for it. So you would get people, especially people that have got disabilities, using some of these words, and you might be thinking, what are they talking about? Like, you don't know what they're talking about, which is fine. Over time, you would start understanding it. And you've got a lot of English people as well that will explain it. Like when we have support workers with us, they don't understand some words. They ask us, like, Sophie, Harsha, what does this mean? I heard this today. And we explain it to them. Like, for example, there's one saying, what time you make it? That means, what time is it right now? So you look at the time saying, okay, it's 4 o'clock now. So what time you make it? That doesn't make sense, really. But for English people, that makes sense. It says, oh, it's this time. Any questions about that kind of slang? Have I scared you off in the UK?
The bottom line is that English don't speak English.
Yes, we don't speak English. That's what I said, like, the Queen speaks proper English. That's the only person, and some people around, like, you know, the Parliament and, you know, MPs and stuff, they will all speak proper English. But not your general people, day-to-day people won't speak proper English. And this is what you got to get used to. Especially, like I said, if you want to come into the care services, they don't speak proper English already. Okay. So you got roadman slang. Like I said, roadman means people that are on road. Like, they go out, you know, they hang out, they love hanging out outside shopping centres and just loitering around the street. That's why they're called roadman. They have literally made up their own, they've made up their own words and their own slang. It's basically real words, but they've put a different meaning to it. So you'll recognize all the words that they say, but you just don't know that they mean something else. So they would use it differently. So I'm going to show you someone that's doing a typical roadman slang. They always look the same. I mean, not Harsha have noticed this. How does a roadman look like, Harsha?
Yeah, they got their uniform, track bottom, probably Adidas trainers, and a bag on the side, maybe a hat. It's like the uniform.
And a puffer jacket.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's it. They love JD Sports. Love JD Sports, Roadman does. They buy everything from JD Sports. So it'll be a big shop for them, guys. I'm going to show you some.
They don't buy it from JD Sport. They just steal it from JD Sport.
Or they do fakes, a lot of fakes and rip-offs. But that's Roadman for you. So I'm going to show you some Roadman. They've classed it as London slang, but it's not London slang because people in Manchester use it, people in Birmingham use it. It's the next generation slang, but London are trying to own it as its own. I think it's come from London a bit, like Idris Elba has said, and it's just over time has changed completely. So you might not understand a word of this, which is fine because sometimes I don't either.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Ryan. See today's video now because I splashed out the amounts of slang in my video. It's London slang part 1. So I'm doing a part 1 because obviously it's going to be more parts because there's just too much slang to go through. So about 10 will be put in this video. This video is to help people that have been watching my videos but don't understand some of the words I'm saying. So whether you're from another country and trying to support, or you're from London and in the blocks with your tracksuit bottoms over another pair of tracksuit bottoms, I think this video will benefit all of you. So number 1 is wild one. So nice and easy, just basically means how are you or what's going on. So if you're going to use it in a conversation now, it'll start off like, yo, wild one, G, what you saying? I'm good though, fam. Like, what you saying though? Wild one with you. So number 2, fam, cuz, cuzzy, brother, rude boy, G. This is just generally if you're addressing someone. It doesn't necessarily have to be a friend, but more time it is. So it could be like, yes, fam, what's good though? Yo, brother, wild one, my G, what you saying though? So number 3 is big man or boss man. Okay, so this is used generally when you're addressing an elder. So you'll probably be talking this way to the guy in the chicken shop or the guy in the corner shop. So if I'm in the corner shop, I'll be like, yes, big man, what? This is just my coke and my line bar. How much is that, yeah? I'm in the chicken shop, yeah. I go up to boss man and say, yes, boss man, my G, what you saying, yeah? Can I have the usual, yeah? Now, maybe this time, boss man, put me some extra chips, yeah? Number 4 is raw or rotted. So basically, this is just used when you're amazed at something. So it can come in a place of wow. So you can be using it like, wow, boss man, what? You actually put me mad extra chips here? Oh, mad love, boss man. Number 5 is booty. So this basically means dodgy. So if you're talking about a certain area, you'll be like, wow, fam, I'm not even going down them sides. They're kind of booty still. Or Jason's moving kind of booty these days still, you know, like I ain't ready, you know. Number 6 is my man. So this generally is when you're talking about someone, you don't need to know them. Hey, yo, guess what I saw yesterday, you know? I saw Jason, you know, he said, well, go on. Bro, I swear down what, I ain't seen my man in a hot minute, you know? Or you could be laughing with your bud, just looking across the road like, hey, yo, fam, what, you see the way my man buckled as he ran for the bus, fam? Number 7 is skiing or seen. So this is just basically when you acknowledge something by saying, I see. Sometimes it can be interpreted rudely as well because of the way people use it, or they just go violated and just like skiing. Hey, yo, fam, I just came from jumping, you know, and I'm going to... All my version violates your yard when it comes around, yeah. Hey, yo, fam, my baby don't do them things in my yard, fam. Like, what do you think of this, though? See, the 8 now is pagan or waste man. And no, it's not the word when we're talking about the ancient religions out there, but in London, these words just basically mean someone that's a snake or someone you don't rate at all. But it can also be used as a joke amongst friends. Don't even get twisted like that. And you know what? My man's moving like a pagan lady, you know, I ain't gonna rate it. Oh, fam, you're a pagan, you know, you're always looking at that some waste man moves, you know. Number 9 is rude.
Did any of you, sorry, let me just move the mic back. Any of you understand any of that roadman slang?
Wagwan.
Wagwan, yes. we do use wagwan a lot. I use waste man a lot. Do you use it? Rude boy. You might actually understand roadman slang better than the rest of the slangs. So a lot of the British hip hop people and the next generation is between British slang and roadman slang, that's what they use. So like if someone's doing a rubbish job, you're saying that they're waste man. They're such a waste man. And like, yeah, wagwan, I've heard that so many times, but so many people say it now. It sounds weird when somebody posh says it. Oh, wagwan. You're thinking, no, it doesn't go. So you have to have the right look. He's got his little outfit on, the tracksuit that Harsh was telling you about, in black. That's how they normally dress. It doesn't mean that you have to dress like that. That's what they generally tend to look like. Is there any questions on any of these? Any of these roadmen now?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, the slangs that, let's say like the roadman slang, or let's say any kind of slang that anyone has, can it affect your job? Or like, for example, if you're going for an interview and that's the only thing that you know on what to say, like go there and you're not talking the rightful English words, but you just know roadman slang. And your paperwork is okay, you have all credit scores, but your tone of speaking is just roadman slang.
That's it. You know what? That's a very, very good question, because if we did an interview for someone and they walked in and they just sat on their sofa on the thing and think, you know what, wagwan man, what are you saying, bro? And they're talking to you like that, I'm not gonna hire them, because it's not a professional. Imagine them going in for a doctor's job saying, wagwan man, you know, bare clients a waste man, you know, I just want this job, you know, you're not gonna give them the job, you know, you don't want a doctor to be like over the operating table doing that to you. Not very professional. So a lot of jobs won't take you. There might be some very, very few jobs, but there might be the lower skill jobs, because it's not classed as highly rated in that way. When you hear a lot of roadman slang, it's with the next generation. A lot of them don't have the jobs, they just hang around on the street, and they're classed as wastemen, most of them are. But it does, depend on the tone and stuff, but it's best to stay away from certain words. Like, so if the recruiter doesn't give you the job, don't be like, oh, you're such a waste man, you're definitely not going to get the job. So you got to be very careful in how you say stuff. It's best to go for as much proper English as you can. Be nice and clear. You try and use the correct terminology. So do some research into the company and speak to them properly, because they want to know that you can do the job. Some people may still give you the job, like a support worker job. I've seen a lot of, no, I haven't seen a lot. I've seen a couple of people that speak a lot of slang, roadman slang, and are support workers, because they are supporting people that are homeless, people that are drug addicts, people that are commonly British disabled people. So in that area, it might work, because they know that you understand these people and you can talk to them in a certain way and have that confidence when you're talking to them and trying to tone down and help them with life. So in certain jobs, it may work, but you don't want to go and do it in an interview. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Does Harsh want to add anything to that?
I wanted to say, like it's a slang, but that doesn't mean that you have to change your accent or anything. Like you can still, you don't have to sound like an Englishman or English woman to get a job, but you can still like sound like wherever you are from, like Kenya or any other country. So it's just a slang. It's just the words that you need to speak, the proper words. So you can speak like a roadman if you're going for a job with your local drug dealer. Apart from that, you shouldn't use that when you go to a proper interview. Yeah, you can speak in your own accent. That doesn't matter. As long as you speak the proper words, the correct words, and you don't swear at the interviews, then you should be fine.
Yeah, don't swear in interviews, which is our next thing that we're going to talk about. So it all depends on which job you're going for and what you do. The way that you all are speaking now is perfect, so you can be yourself. It's just good to know what certain words mean and how people talk. But like I said, if your friends are talking a certain way, you would just automatically pick it up. So it depends on the community of people that you're with and so like integrating with. So if you were going to university or college, you might hear a lot of roadman slang. So you might talk like it there. If you're in a more professional environment, you would talk more like better English. Shall I say like more, not posh, but more clear English, but it really does depend on who you hang out with at the end of it as well. Never forget that with language, it's all about your body language as well, and the culture and the content in how you're saying it. So something you say, if your body language is saying something opposite, people can get defensive or offended by it as well. Okay? Now, the next bit is the last bit of these slides. May offend some of you guys, but it's such a British thing to do, and it's swearing. The UK or British people love to swear. There's two ways you can take that. One is you're swearing at somebody and you're actually being rude. Another one is you're just swearing at the situation. So do you guys swear a lot in Kenya? Do you like swear? Is it normal? Is it part of your everyday life? I think it is for Sally because she's already laughing. She's come off screen,
No.
yes?
No, I don't swear. I don't swear.
Really now? Yes, you do. I swear all the time. I just can't help it. It's part of my language. Our class is part of my language. So I'm going to show you some dialects that are really, you'll hear it so much in England. And you'll probably hear it in Scotland and Irish as well, but it's mainly like the whole of the UK, really, you'll hear these words. Some of these are my favorite words. I can't help it. I try and be good around the kids, but it is part of everyday life because they say it as well. I hear loads of children, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, saying it, but they're not saying it to you, they're saying it at the situation. And it actually makes it quite funny. And schools are starting to understand it's part of life. They're not encouraging it yet, but they don't tell you off for saying it. You just tell them, oh, that's a rude word, don't say it outside. But in the homes, people do it all the time. I got a feeling Grace does a lot of swearing, I can tell. Yes. Harsha, what about you? Harsha doesn't do it as much. I do it quite a lot, but...
No, I don't. I don't swear as much as you do.
I do it a lot.
I'm not British, that's why.
Yes, yeah. So like I said, a lot of disability people would swear all day long. I've had so many support workers from South Africa, from Pakistan, Nigeria, and they just get scared and shocked. Don't be scared from it. Find it funny and laugh it off with them. So if they say, oh, for fuck's sake, don't be like, oh my God, he swore. That means that something's gone wrong. So you have to look at the whole body language on how they're saying it. If they're saying it to your face, like if I'm looking at Grace now, somebody saying, you fucking bitch. I'm offending you. I'm doing it to you, and I'm aggressive and angry to you. Okay? So there's a difference in doing it. I'm going to show you some. I couldn't find no proper YouTube videos for this. I wanted to do it myself to show you guys how you can probably do it and ask any questions. You might be used to this as well. So apologies for all the swearing. This is probably my favorite thing to do though, but apologies if you get offended from it right now. So the most common swear word you would hear in English, it's the most common English swear word. You would hear it, everything. You'll hear it for anything and everything. It's such a diverse word, and people from overseas use it all the time. So for example, it could be like, if something's broken, like, oh, fuck, the kettle's broken. You say it like that, just randomly put in there. If you want to be more nice about it, say, oh no, the kettle's broken, but that just sounds a bit like cheesy. Say like, oh, fuck, the kettle's broken. It's normal. Like, how am I going to make a cup of tea now? If someone's annoying you, you can be like, oh, fuck off. So you can put words at the end of it, or fuck it. Like, you know, if you're trying to do something and make something and it's not working, you just say, oh, fuck it, and you just chuck it because you're frustrated. So you can use it in any terminology that you want. If Harsha said to me now, Sophie, I just won £20 million, I'll be like, oh, fuck off. I'm saying in like, I'm shocked. Oh, fuck off. Because you can tell from the body language. So don't be offended if people are swearing around you. Just see how they're doing it, okay? Another word that we actually love is piss off. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yes. How would you use that then? Come on, someone else tell me, because I don't want to do all the swearing myself. It's not as vulgar as fuck off, but how would you use the word piss off?
Someone is bothering.
Sorry?
You can see maybe go away.
Yeah, so somebody using a sentence, don't be shy. We're all adults here.
You're pissing me off.
Perfect. That's exactly it. Yeah, you're pissing me off. So that means that someone's just constantly annoying you.
He meant it. He definitely meant it.
That's it. I might be pissing Simon off right now. He's like, you're pissing me off. That's fine. Or like I said, it could be frustration. Oh, piss this. Like, forget this. Like, so instead of using forget this, you can say, oh, piss this. You'll hear a lot of drunk people use this. A lot of drunk people love the word piss. I'm so pissed today. It could be mean. It could mean two things. One is I'm angry, or it could be that they're so drunk that they're actually pissed. That means they drank all day long. Okay? So it's the way that they use it. Not a swear word, but this is another one that's just nice, a little bit more toned. So if you don't want to teach your kids or say stuff, but you're really angry, you can say bugger off. Has anybody ever heard of the word bugger off before? No, so bugger off is just kind of similar, but just nicer. So if somebody's like doing something like, oh, like Harsha, you're drinking again. Oh, bugger off, Sophie. Just bugger off, leave me alone. So you can say like that. It's more playful, more harmless. And it's like I said, you look at the body language of it. Another good one we like is bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell.
That is very, very British, isn't it?
Yeah, bloody hell, man. That's hard, man.
We'll never hear that from an American or any other.
But you guys would be using this a lot. As soon as you come to the UK, maybe the first couple of months you won't, but after that you'll be like, bloody hell, man, that was so hard. So that is such, yeah, like Harsha said, it's a proper British word. Not my favorite word to use, but it's starting to, this word normally means you're born without a father, bastard. I hate that word my whole life, but now they're starting to change the terminology of it as time goes on. So it's not as unpleasant. And they talk about it for something that is really hard to do as well. Or if somebody cheated on you, you could be like, oh, the fucking bastard cheated on me. So you're talking about that. Before that was so, like if you say that, people will be so offended. But as time's going on, it's stopped being it. I'm not going to go through all the words. I'm just going to show you one. Have you ever heard of wanker or tosser? You'll hear that a lot. Is that a British thing, more British thing, Harsha?
I think it is. I don't hear Americans say that.
Yeah. So that's when you're saying it to someone, oh, he's such a wanker, he's such a tosser. And you heard Gerard Butler use this word a lot. Yes. So does somebody want to try and use some of these words in sentences? Go ahead. You'd be so British. Don't say it to the Home Office people or at the airports, because you won't get through customs. You'll be sitting there trying to get through. But once you're through, you can use these words and throw them around and it should be fine. Is there any questions about anything?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
It's about language, English.
Yeah.
Are there people in the UK who cannot understand or speak English at all?
Go on, Harsha.
There's a lot. No, absolutely. I've seen some like elder people being in the UK for like, I don't know, about 40, 50 years, even longer. They can't write. They don't even speak. They only speak a few words. I think that happens because in some communities, they all like non-English speaking, like, immigrants from other countries. They live in very close little communities and they only speak their own language to their neighbors when they go to shops. They only go there, like, you know, just to shop across the road. So they don't really need to speak any English or anything. They don't go out to work or anything like that. They just stay home, and someone else provides them, maybe their husbands or wives or someone provides them. So they just stay home, just only speak to their neighbors, only speak to their kids. So yeah, people like that. I've seen many as well, like, you know, sometimes when I go somewhere. So, adults, like older people, they've been in the UK for longer than I've lived my life. So, but, you know, they can't write English. There's many like that.
You'll normally get refugees from, like, you know, people, you know, like you're seeing a lot of people cross the channel from war-torn countries. They can't speak a word of English, or maybe one or two words, and they apply for settled status through the refugee route. So you have a lot of refugees here at the moment that and there's a lot of people that are not meant to be legally in the UK, that are illegally staying here. They either overstayed their visa or they're snuck into the UK through France, and they're just here waiting to get legal status or something. They don't speak English. They're not going to go out to work for English companies because they haven't got a visa. So they'll probably either survive doing cash in hand jobs or through their family members. So you got that type of people. We were part of Europe as well. So we got a lot of European people come here as well, and they have not learned the language of English. They don't need to. They were still getting money from, because they could claim benefits. So European people could claim benefits by coming to the UK. So they didn't care about learning the language. They just wanted the money of the UK. So we have a lot of people like from Romania, Poland, Spanish people, French people that don't want to learn the language as well. Lots of people. And then, like I said, the older generation, like my grandma could not speak a word of English, but back before 1982, she could come here from Pakistan. There was not an issue. Now he's got all these borders, like, you know, all this in place. My mom can speak half and half, but she's more ignorant as well. My mom is, in the fact that she doesn't want to speak it. She'd rather go to the local shop or to the local doctors until she wants to stay in her community. The community is predominantly Asian. So you'll find a lot of areas in England like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't need to worry too much about it. Like, you would, do you know, if you say you came to the UK and you want to settle in Manchester, for example, you would know which areas of Manchester have more commonly Pakistani people in it, or Romanians in it, or Nigerians in it. You would know where the Nigerian shops are, like, or the South African shops, South Indian shops. So you will start to get a vibe of it. So it's best when you do come to the UK, rent for a couple of weeks to understand the area, because you don't want to be the only Kenyan person in a Romanian community, because you wouldn't feel comfortable. So you would want to go somewhere where it's either multicultural, like we are, like we've got about 7 or 8 different people next to us, or a community that you feel comfortable in while you get used to the UK. And through these people is where you can learn your culture a bit more, and they would help you. People help their own a lot more.
One more thing, and like Sophie said, when you come to a big city, mainly you won't see many British people. And when you come for the first time, you'll be wondering, like, where's the Muzungu? But no, there's all like they're all multicultural, right? Different colors, different skin colors from different countries. Isn't that right, Joyce? Is that what you thought when you were in Sheffield? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you go out of the city, then you will see many like British people, because British people are actually moving away from the big cities because they want a quiet life, because there's more foreigners coming to main cities to work and, you know, do businesses and study and stuff. So yeah, so you won't see many British people in the main cities. They're all away from the city. So if you want to live like, if you want to feel like you are in the UK, you want to stay a little bit away from the big cities. That's just a little tip.
It's like Cornwall. Probably Cornwall, you'll get a lot more British people, and certain areas of Scotland you would, and the Lake District a lot further up. So like some of you said Yorkshire, But there's certain areas in Yorkshire, not Huddersfield, I think Huddersfield is predominantly multicultural, but the further up you go, the more you'll see British people. You'll be like, oh my God, a white face. It's like that sometimes. I'm in Birmingham and I never see a white face no more. I'm like, oh my God, I just saw a white person. It's not racist what we're saying. It's just we're so used to seeing Asians or blacks. It shocks us as well. I'm always shocked. Like people see my face and they just think, oh, she's Asian, but I'm actually British Asian. So you get, it's so mixed up. This is why I feel that the UK is very diverse. There's probably more, like I said, a lot of British people are also moving overseas. They're moving to Spain, they're moving to Italy, and they're moving to Canada and Australia. So British people are actually wanting to go for the beaches now and more of a different life. Is there anything else anybody wants to ask at all? Even if it's about like anything?
Yeah, I have a question. Maybe out of what you've discussed today. If I want to come for working in UK, how safe am I if I come alone? Or is it, sometimes we go to other countries and find the safety isn't assured. So how safe is it in the UK, or do I have to be with somebody else? Do I have to have an agency around? Do I have to have the advocates around me? So how safe am I if I come?
You know what? That's a very good question to ask as a girl, because I'm British and I still get scared of certain areas. You know, if you're coming to the UK, say that you got a job in London, the best thing to do is go online and look at the crime rate and the burglary rate. It will tell you how many crimes has been done in that area, how many deaths there have been, how many attacks there have been, and then you can get a feel of, I don't want to live in this area. That's why it's always good to just rent for a little bit, so you can go and look at the area, because you might think, oh my God, this house is only £300 a month, bills included. There's a reason why it's £300 a month with bills included, because the area might not be that good, the house might not be that good, and you might feel scared to go in the home. So there are areas like that. So you do have to be careful. Always stick to street lighting. Wherever you are, you make sure you're not rural. I don't tend to go out at night time. Even I'm in Aberdeen, I say to Harsha, I'm not going out on my own. I always tell Harsha where I am. If I'm going somewhere far, like if I'm working far, I tend to put my location on so Harsha can see my route, because he would think, okay, has something happened? You always have to be wary, because you just don't know, especially people knowing that you're not from this country. Another good thing you can do, Grace, is if you know, say you're coming to London, you can join lots of Facebook groups. So if you're coming to, say, East London or something, you can join a group like Kenyans in East London. There's lots of groups, Kenyans in the UK, Kenyans in London. Join these groups and they will give you so many tips to make you feel welcome. And there's going to be other people like you as well in that group that have just come as students or a skilled worker, and they might say, let's be friends. They do build communities like this. And that's the best way to make your little community of friends and feel comfortable and safe. In regards to racism, Harsh, do you want to answer that, or should I?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that actually tomorrow.
Yes.
I know Grace asked us yesterday as well how you'd be treated as an African in the UK, but I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. That's the whole session tomorrow is about that.
So that will be a good one for you.
Yeah. So yeah, shall we talk about it tomorrow in more detail?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good, very good and very important topic to the UK. That hopefully you can give your experiences. So it'd be nice if you can come tomorrow, if I should say, with some experiences that you are worried about. What are you actually worried about with regarding to racism? How do you think you feel? Because Harsha will see how he can potentially help you tackle that if there is any issues. Okay. Is there any other questions anybody's got? Was everybody happy with today? Are you all roadmen now, or you're all wastemen?
Roadman.
Yeah, that's right, Simon. I like it. That's the way. You're all roadmen now. So you're all going to be gangster in your little tracksuits in the UK. You would fit into the culture of the UK for sure. Okay.
Just wanted to take a few seconds just to need to welcome like a few new people today as well that we didn't see yesterday. Like we got Claire. I think Claire wasn't here yesterday, and Angela, Sally. A few people here. So welcome for the first time. And John Safari is in the house. He was telling off everybody yesterday for being late.
Yeah, more people came today, Joseph. I'm really happy. And thank you guys for coming to the second session. I'm hoping you've gone away with something today again. And even if you go away tonight and you think, oh, I wish I asked Sophie or Harsha these questions, even if it's from session 1 or session 2, jot them down and ask us at any time saying, you know what, on session 1, can I just clarify something, or can you tell me something? We are more than happy. This is what we're here for, to try and make you feel comfortable as possible and try and give you the right sources or what to do. Come here, and we're going to try and still build that community with you guys even after this. So if you have any questions or stuff or unsure about anything, you can always speak to Josephat or look through this training again. So thank you very much. I'm going to pass it now back to Josephat to finish off the session.
Once again, thank you so much. I'm personally getting to learn a lot in this session. You know, as I said, by spirit, we are slowly coming to Britain. And I'm urging our students that tomorrow it will be hotter, it will be better, and it will be nicer. Because many times we are afraid of discrimination based on the color of our skin, how we speak and how we pronounce words, our hair, our hair is textured. So we'll be tackling matter racism, and I'm urging all of us to be present at the very hour, the same place, the same venue, and we shall succeed together. So thank you so much, and you have a great day.
And thank you everybody for coming, and hopefully I'll see you nice and bright and early tomorrow.
Okay, see you all tomorrow.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.